I didn't grow up watching Gladiator, but a lot of people did, and the Gladiator 2 trailer promised more of what people loved. The first one had an effeminate emperor. This one has two effeminate emperors. The first one had a gladiator fighting a tiger. This one has a gladiator fighting a computer monkey, a computer rhino, and computer sharks. Turns out this movie is also a sequel to Jumanji. The original cost $103 million to make. This one cost $250 million. Some say closer to $310. With that kind of money, Kamala could have built 2 podcast sets. If that last number's right, that would make this the 13th most expensive movie ever made, and all the movies above it on that list, also sequels. You can find that graph on the Wikipedia page List of Most Expensive Films, and on the Wikipedia page What Are Diminishing Returns. So the pitch was, if you liked Gladiator, you're gonna love this. To refresh your memory, the first movie is about Maximus, a Roman general who gets kicked out because the emperor's son, played by Joaquin Phoenix, is jealous of him. The emperor, Marcus Aurelius, wants Maximus to be his successor and then hand the government back to the Senate. Joaquin Phoenix wants to be emperor, so he kills his own dad and sentences Maximus and his family to death. Maximus escapes, but by the time he gets home, it's too late. His wife and son are dead. The movie is about him seeking revenge on Joaquin Phoenix and fulfilling the dead emperor's last wishes. Through it all, Maximus is encouraged by his former girlfriend, who is Marcus Aurelius' daughter, and her young son, who's about the same age as his own son was. In the end, Maximus kills Joaquin Phoenix, gives the order to restore the Roman Republic, and dies. The trailer for Gladiator 2 contained at least a couple of big plot revelations, both related to the first movie. The first was that Lucius, the kid from the original, is Maximus's son.
Lucius, take your father's strength. His name was Maximus, and I see him in you.
Meaning that Maximus had cheated on his wife with a married woman, which made for one awkward episode of the Morius Povicus show. The other revelation in the trailer is that the ending of the first movie didn't work. Rome didn't become a republic again, thus the 2 weirdo emperors. So just from the trailer, you knew that according to this movie, our hero Maximus was an adulterer and a failure, that he lived and died for nothing. And also you knew that the movie still wanted you to admire him. It's like if they made a sequel to The Shawshank Redemption, and it turned out that Andy really did kill his wife, and now he's right back in prison. But they still expected you to like him. Or if they made a sequel to Star Wars, where it turns out Luke is kind of a loser, and the Empire didn't really... Never mind. So, going in, I knew it was gonna stink. I went because I wanted to see how bad. The movie started with a message from the stars, thanking us for watching it in theaters the way it was intended to be seen, which is about the most dying medium thing I've ever seen. Hi, I'm actor Paul Mescal. Thank you for watching this movie in which I acted. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please suspend your disbelief. A lot of folks have focused on how much this movie steals the plot from the first one, which is fine, but I want to point out where the plots diverge and how that illustrates their main problem: they can't commit. Here's what I mean. In the opening battle, Lucius's wife dies, but she dies as a soldier in battle. Is she a kick-ass soldier lady or an innocent victim? The movie can't decide. The person who gives the order to shoot her is Pedro Pascal, and he orders it because she shot at him. What's he supposed to do, not shoot back? So now Lucius hates him, but what's the audience supposed to feel? The movie can't decide. In the original, the wife and child are on a farm, several days' journey from the fighting, and Joaquin kills them because he's envious. These days, we can't have a helpless woman and a mustache-twirling villain, but they want us to feel all the same things as when we did. Is this a feminist statement about strong women, or is it a story about a patriarch taking revenge? Again, the movie can't decide. So we're 10 minutes in, and the movie has already waffled on its core emotional arc. Not a great sign. The closest we get to a clear revenge story is with 9 minutes left in the movie, which I'm surprised I was still awake for. In the first movie, we had a clear villain. The guy who kills Maximus's wife becomes emperor, oversees the gladiatorial games, and tries to end the military coup at the end. In this movie, all those things are split into 4 different villains. Pedro Pascal kills the wife, the 2 emperors oversee the games, and Denzel kills the mom and tries to stop the military coup at the end. So who's the bad guy? Again, the movie can't decide. The heroics are also split. Pedro Pascal is a Roman general who wants to lead a coup against the emperors, and Lucius is a slave who wants revenge for the death of his wife. Spreading around all the motivations means that we don't really love any of the heroes, and we don't really hate any of the villains. In other words, we don't care. And neither apparently did the filmmakers. In the days when he made Alien, Blade Runner, and Gladiator, Ridley Scott worked with one camera at a time. There were a few occasions where he'd film with multiple cameras, like the chestburster scene in Alien, but it was just a couple of times per movie. This meant that every shot had extra care put into it. Shots were usually lit from one side, which created depth in the image. But now Scott shoots differently.
And he's got these, the 8 cameras going at once.
He had, 12, 15
cameras everywhere.
So instead of sitting with the actors, he's sitting in a tent in front of a wall of monitors, like a Bedouin security guard. On one hand, this meant that the movie got finished quicker. The original took 5 months to shoot, while this one took 51 days, though somehow still more expensive. Thanks, computer monkeys. On the other hand, it also meant that the movie looked worse. When your actor has to look decent from 15 different angles, you end up with what cinematographers call flat lighting. In this case, it isn't the cinematographer's fault. To see what I mean, here's a Coliseum shot from Gladiator 1 and a Coliseum shot from Gladiator 2. Flat lighting for flat characters. You also get flat directing. In the behind-the-scenes clips, you can see Ridley directing his lead over a walkie-talkie.
Commit to doing it. You want to commit? Do it, man. Yeah.
Inspiring stuff. In that kind of situation, no one is doing their best work. Yes, it's quicker, but the result is terrible. Ridley Scott is like a famous old chef who just discovered the microwave, and now his movies are all just overpriced Hot Pockets. He doesn't have time to care, and so neither do we. All of this is bad, but none of it is worse than what we already knew from the trailer. They were relying on the first movie for meaning, but they'd already sewered it. The opening credits are just a big budget fan content for the first movie. The whole thing is full of flashbacks, and the last shot of the movie is the first shot of the original. But none of this has any emotional resonance because they've already undermined it. They killed the horse and then tried to ride it for 2.5 hours. It's basically the same thing they did in the Enlightenment. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do some megachurch style transition to a serious topic. This is just a lousy movie and I wanted to talk about it. So, thanks for watching.